Hello and welcome to my analysis of Crooked Letter. This video can serve as a starting point for your own analysis or help you to revise the things you talked about in class. Either way, if you consider this video helpful, you might also consider leaving a like and subscribe to my channel. And now, let's start right away. Crooked Letter is a novel by Tom Franklin. The book tells the story of two childhood friends, Larry Ott and Silas 32 Jones, who grew up in rural Mississippi in the 1970s. The two boys were inseparable until a tragic event pulled them apart. Larry Ott is a white boy who grows up on a farm. He is an introverted child who loves to read and collect old books. Silas 32 Jones is a black boy who grows up in a nearby town. He is outgoing, popular, and athletic. The two boys become friends when Silas defends Larry from a group of bullies who are teasing him. The story is told in two timelines, one set in the present day and the other in the past. In the present day, Larry is now a middle-aged man who lives alone on his farm. He is still considered an outcast in the community due to a long-ago incident in which a girl he had taken out on a date disappeared and was never found. Larry was suspected of being involved in her disappearance but was never charged with a crime. He has since lived a lonely and isolated life, haunted by his past. Meanwhile, Silas is now a local constable who is called in to investigate the disappearance of another young woman. As he delves into the case, he is forced to confront his own past and his relationship with Larry. They have not spoken in decades, and their relationship was strained by the events of their youth. In the past timeline, the novel explores the boys' friendship, their families, and their struggles with racism and prejudice in the deeply divided South. The boys' friendship is tested when Larry is accused of a terrible crime, and the town turns against him. Silas is torn between his loyalty to his friend and the pressure to conform to the racist attitudes of his community. As the present-day investigation unfolds, Silas and Larry are forced to confront the secrets and lies of their past. The novel builds to a tense and dramatic conclusion that reveals the truth behind the long-ago disappearance of the girl and the events that shaped the lives of the two men. Crooked Letter has a complex structure that moves back and forth in time, alternating between the present day and the past. Part 1 of the novel is set in the present day and introduces the reader to the two main characters, Larry and Silas. The novel begins with the disappearance of a local girl and the suspicion that falls on Larry, who is seen as a loner and an outsider by the community. Part 1 also establishes the relationship between Larry and Silas, who were childhood friends but who have not seen each other in many years. The present-day events are interspersed with flashbacks to the characters' childhood, which help to establish their backgrounds and motivations. Part 2 of the novel is set in the past, when Larry and Silas were children. This part of the novel provides more detail about their childhood friendship and the events that led to their separation. The events of the past also shed light on the present-day events and help to establish the reasons behind Larry's ostracism by the community. Part 3 of the novel returns to the present day and focuses on the resolution of the mystery surrounding the missing girl. This part of the novel also explores the impact of the past on the present and the role of justice and redemption in the characters' lives. The narrative technique used in Crooked Letter. Crooked Letter is primarily a third-person limited point of view, which focuses on the thoughts and actions of the main characters, Larry and Silas. This narrative technique is effective in allowing the reader to see inside the minds of the characters and to understand their motivations and feelings. The novel also uses flashbacks to tell the story of Larry and Silas's childhood friendship and to provide background information about the characters. These flashbacks are seamlessly integrated into the narrative and help to create a sense of depth and complexity to the characters. Another narrative technique used in the novel is the use of foreshadowing, which hints at events to come and creates a sense of tension and suspense. The novel also makes use of multiple perspectives, with different characters providing their own versions of events. This allows the reader to see the story from multiple angles and to understand the complexities of the characters and their relationships. The two protagonists of Crooked Letter are Larry Ott and Silas 32 Jones, both of whom are complex and multifaceted characters. Larry Ott is a white man who grew up on a farm in rural Mississippi. He is a deeply introverted and socially awkward character who is haunted by his past. As a child, he was often bullied by other children, and he found solace in books and reading. As an adult, he is still socially isolated, living alone on his farm with only his books for company. He is seen as an outcast by the community, partly due to his awkwardness and partly due to a long-ago incident in which a girl he took on a date disappeared and was never found. He was suspected of being involved in her disappearance, and although he was never charged with a crime, the suspicion has followed him throughout his life. Larry is a sympathetic character, and the reader can't help but feel sorry for him as he struggles to overcome the isolation and stigma that have defined his life. Silas 32 Jones, on the other hand, is a black man who grew up in a nearby town. He is outgoing, athletic, and popular, but also deeply conflicted. As a child, he befriended Larry and defended him against bullies, but their friendship was strained when Larry was accused of a terrible crime. Silas struggled with his loyalty to Larry, his desire to fit in with his community, and his own conscience. As an adult, he has become a local constable, tasked with investigating crimes in the community. He is still haunted by the events of his youth and the choices he made. Silas is a complex character, torn between his loyalty to his friend and his obligations as a law enforcement officer. Both Larry and Silas are shaped by the deeply divided and racist community in which they grew up. The novel explores the legacy of racism and prejudice and how it affects both men in different ways. Through their struggles and conflicts, the novel paints a powerful and moving portrait of two men who are defined by their past but who strive to find redemption and forgiveness. Friendship is a central theme of the novel, particularly the friendship between Larry and Silas. The novel explores how their friendship is tested by the racial tensions and prejudices of their community, as well as the accusations and suspicions that surround Larry. The novel also portrays the deep bond that exists between the two men, even as they are pulled apart by the events of their youth. Ultimately, the novel shows how friendship can transcend differences and how the bonds we form in childhood can shape our lives in unexpected ways. Race and identity are also important themes in the novel. The novel explores how racial tensions and prejudices shape the lives of the characters, particularly Silas, who must navigate the complex racial dynamics of the community. The novel also explores how identity is shaped by family, community, and the expectations of others. The impact of the past on the present is another important theme of the novel. The novel shows how the events of the past continue to haunt the characters in the present, shaping their lives and influencing their choices. Larry's past, in particular, is a central focus of the novel, as he struggles to overcome the stigma and suspicion that have followed him throughout his life. Finally, the novel explores the idea of justice and the role of law enforcement in society. Silas, as a constable, is a central figure in the novel, and the novel explores his struggles to balance his loyalty to his friend with his duties as a law enforcement officer. Overall, Crooked Letter is a rich and complex novel that explores important themes in a nuanced and thought-provoking way. Through its portrayal of friendship, race, identity, and the impact of the past, the novel offers a powerful and moving portrayal of life in rural Mississippi. Thank you for the attention. If you like the video, follow my channel for more videos or visit my website for more detailed information. Just click on link in the description.